Hello, friends. I'm very excited to record this message for you because I am going to tell you about the next project that I want to work on. I hinted about it in my last newsletter on Substack, but I didn't really explain much. And it might be a little bit of a surprise for those of you who know me only through my music or maybe through my memoir, but I have always been a huge lover of psychology and spirituality and personal development and entrepreneurial, like motivational things. Like I just really love growth mindset and seeing the world through a lens of values and meaning and creativity. And so to that end, I've read a lot. I've gone to a lot of trainings. I minored in psychology in college, and then I kept reading. I've gone through a lot of therapy myself. Like I read, you know, motivational and spiritual things pretty much daily to stay connected. It's a really big part of who I am, and I think has helped me to create a lot of the work that I create. Is this kind of anchoring in you know wellness as a broad term, and I have felt though over the years really left out of this world that I love, this personal development world, because the language around disability is often really, really negative and super ableist, and it kind of catches you by surprise. I think the first and worst time that it caught me by surprise was I was reading a book by Wayne Dyer called The Invisible Force. It was like a daily reflections on like positive thinking and positive affirmations. And one of the affirmations, which just blew my mind, was simply refuse to think that you could be a victim of disease or disability, and do not spend the precious moments of your life discussing illnesses or past injuries. And that really hurt, obviously. Kind of just shocked me. Stopped reading the book after that, obviously, and it because there was such a disdain for disability, such an othering, such a negative take on disability that it literally excluded disabled people reading it from this idea of, you know, positive affirmations or, shaping their trajectory of their lives because they were being completely othered. And it's not the only time I've felt that way in personal development stuff. Very recently, I went to a training and the guy was like, I work out every day. You got to know your why. I work out because I don't want to have to wheel myself down the aisle. And it's like, oh, man, like another example of like just kind of a lack of not just understanding, but of awareness that what you say, if it's true, should be universal and respectful of all people. And I think we're just missing that in a lot of the wellness spaces that I have gotten a lot from. I learn a lot, but then I've also had to sift through a lot of gross language and a lot of baggage, and 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 they clearly, on the whole, don't see disability as like the vibrant, adaptable, creative, fun, and um, like very generative community that I do. I see disability as a source of strength and leadership and creativity, and I just don't think that that's how most of the industries that I'm talking about view it. So I want to create. That's what I'm going to do next. I am creating a creative community online to serve what I see as a very underserved population, which is anyone dealing with a disability, who is dealing with the realities of aging, or maybe going through some mental health issues, or just honestly who has felt left out of the wellness, entrepreneurial, creative, spiritual dimensions because of this idea of like, if you're not 20 years old and able to put in 50 hours a week and push, that this isn't for you. There's a lot of that too. The going viral, you know, like just build doesn't fit everybody's life, and it doesn't leave people feeling valued. And so I want people to be able to better their lives by following their creative passion, and deepening their sense of creative meaning, and in turn spiritual meaning, without having to sift through a bunch of ableist language or negative bias against their identity. I want this to be a welcoming space. Originally, I thought about making it just for disabled creatives, but I really think that we can't silo ourselves anymore. In this day and age, people who are aging could be learning from disabled people, and we could be coming together and joining forces with the older population in a way that makes our needs taken more seriously, and our the diverse human experience just respected for what it is. So I'm keeping this open to anyone who feels like they could benefit from a creative space that is rooted in anti-ableism and in kindness, and in the real root of it all is that every person matters and that everybody's creative journey is important. That's basically the baseline. And so the point of this program is to connect you with other creatives who maybe are going through similar things as you, or at least who want to explore creativity in a safe and nurturing and welcoming and accessible environment. And then also I want to make it so that we can do challenges together. So I'm starting a challenge on August 1st, which will be, it's called Seed to Sprouts, and it's about kind of taking inventory of your creativity now, and planting some seeds that you can see germinate. Because it might be that you have lost touch with your creative pursuits. It might be that you don't really know what direction you want to go in next, that you're having trouble sifting through the different messages that our culture gives us, or that maybe we give ourselves about what we can or cannot do. And then maybe it's that we are a disabled professional and we're in the field and we're out there doing creative work, but we feel, kind of burned out or alone or disconnected. And so this is a place where I want a lot of us to come together and support each other in the creative process. This isn't about going viral or getting, a certain number of hits or signing a huge deal or whatever. It's about creating and living more creatively every day. I think that every person, if you ever saw my TED talk on enrichment, I think that every person is capable of living a more enriching life, and that is the foundation of creative living coaching. Well, I launched this program. I'm actually going to get certified in life coaching, and then do a second certificate in neurodivergent and ADHD coaching. So eventually, I'm hoping to expand this platform to be also a place where people can come get coaching if they want, like creative coaching. I've done a lot of things creatively from scratch and DIY, and I feel like I've learned a lot along the way, and I would love to help people get in touch with their creativity and then create a plan for them to follow for themselves. I'm just really excited. So that is what is filling me up. It's been kind of on a bucket list, to-do list since even before the book was being edited. I kind of knew this is the next step. It's actually why I named my Substack Creative Living for Everybody, because that's the name I want to name the next book that I write, because I'd like to write about this too. So I hope that you will join me. If this resonates with you at all, if you've ever felt left out by mainstream creativity and wellness and just yeah, wellness and spirituality and mostly creativity, if you've ever felt left out of that equation of personal development and you want to get in touch with your creative self in a space that will accept you and welcome you and celebrate you for who you are, I think this is a place that you should check out. So it's on my website, violinscratches.com/coaching. There's a few different options. There's a free option, there's the 1 month challenge, and then there's a monthly subscription, which will include 1 hour of coaching with me a month. And so you can choose what works for you. I want to make it as accessible as I can to as many different income levels as possible. And I'm going to make sure the live events are able to meet people's needs. If you need ASL interpretation, let me know. Otherwise, everything will be available as a replay with captions and transcripts. I want to be mindful of accessibility from the very beginning, even as it's this tiny little baby seed right now, and hopefully it will grow into something beautiful and supportive for different kinds of creatives who have felt overlooked. So thanks for listening. Can't wait to share it with you.